What is up, Steelers Nation? Thank you so much for jumping on to another episode of All Steelers Talk. I'm Noah Strackbine, joined always by my main man, Jacob Punturi. Find us on youtube.com/All Steelers Talk. Check us out anywhere you get your podcast. The Pittsburgh Steelers got some pretty big Baltimore Ravens news today, but they have some news of their own. Some news of their own. No one knows how to talk today. We're diving into that. The news and notes across the NFL of former Pittsburgh Steelers players that are lighting up the headlines for one reason or another, and we'll dive into some bold predictions here for the Pittsburgh Steelers' first matchup against the Baltimore Ravens. It's a good one here in the Berg. Sunny and bright. Excited to talk some Pittsburgh Steelers football. Adam Thielen practiced for day 2 today, and I think that is always something to feel good about. New wide receiver, new looks. Looked like every other wide receiver. It's a good day. How you feeling, my friend?
feeling good. I think I'm going to just start saying I'm feeling good until
I like it.
We all turn on Adam Thielen in like a week if he doesn't go for a monster performance. But in the meantime, feeling good, feeling positive, feeling excited.
I'm glad that you're feeling good. That's always awesome. The Pittsburgh Steelers have a lot going on as they prepare for the Baltimore Ravens this week, but it may be a matchup of the banged up between Pittsburgh and Baltimore. We're going to dive into that here in a moment, but let's start with two guys who are no longer on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the big one of the day is Darius Slay, who decided that he may not be returning to the NFL ever again. And that, well, the Pittsburgh Steelers may have ended his time in the NFL. He was claimed by the Buffalo Bills, has told them that he will not show up as of right now. He's going to take a couple of days, contemplate retirement. My first thought was good for Slay. The Steelers ruined this guy. Can't believe the Steelers ruined Darius Slay. That's a tough one. I did think watching him and watching all the injuries, man, it would be best at 34 years old, maybe just to walk away. What was your thoughts on Darius Slay maybe hanging up the cleats one last time and not showing up in Buffalo?
You know, I am quite surprised by this development. You know, if I was Darius Slay, I think this would be a great opportunity. You might not be going to the best team in the AFC, but you weren't on that best team in the AFC to begin with. So I think it would have been probably a better opportunity for him to win in what could be his final year in the NFL. But, you know, I think it tells me that this year for him was about playing, you know, where he wanted to in the circumstance and the situation that felt best for him and his family. And apparently that was the Pittsburgh Steelers. And now that is no longer the case, I can certainly understand a Super Bowl winning veteran of his stature just being like, you know what, I don't know if I want to do this. You know, I think I might just be done. It's a shame if, you know, he gets benched, he's injured his final year, he gets cut by his team, and that's how you go out. You hate to see it for a player who, again, has had a pretty quality NFL career like Darius Slay, but, you know, it is a bit surprising to see that this is kind of taking him down so far that he has to contemplate whether he's good or not. You know, he's like, I don't know if I even want to do this.
I think when I heard everybody booing, that was the end of me and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think that's when we chalked it up there. It stinks. I will say that I think I'm glad Darius got out of Pittsburgh only because I didn't think Darius Slay deserved to go down the way that he was going down in Pittsburgh. Like there was no loyalty between anybody and Darius Slay with the Pittsburgh Steelers outside of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like, you know, he's in Philly and you struggle at the end. He's a respected vet, you know, who's just going down in the blades of glory. And in Pittsburgh, it's like, dude, you suck, get off the field. Get anybody you want. James Pierre, put him out there. Doesn't matter. I like that he got to leave. I hope that when he officially does hang it up, there's a moment of like, Darius Slay, man, what a stud. What a stud. On the other side of that, Russell Wilson, baby. Pittsburgh Steelers fans will get a ton of good old Russ cooking in the CBS kitchen this weekend as he takes the booth to talk a little bit of football and potentially begin his new career. I'm not going to ask you your thoughts on Russ because I think it's hilarious. I'm just going to ask, here's the best scale we may ever do on this show.
Okay.
1 to 10. How many? I got two good ones for you. I'll toss them both into one. 1 to 10 odds that Russell Wilson mentions numerous janitors and or cameramen during this broadcast in a thanks for him being on here, as he would Connor Hayward anytime somebody asked any question ever. Russ, why do you suck? Well, man, it all starts with Connor Hayward being just a fantastic guy showing up, and then Scotty Miller being great as well. Two. Scale of 1 to 10. How many times? No, this is more of a guess. How many times, over under 2.5, does Russ say something that the rest of the broadcast has no idea how to respond to? Because they just go, what just came out of your mouth, brother? What was that?
I'll take the over on your second question. I think there's going to be at least 4 to 5 chances and opportunities where the CBS sports broadcasters have to be like, that's fantastic, Russ. Anyways, we're going to go ahead on back to the action here. And I think we're going to see a lot of that.
Yeah.
I am scale of 1 to 10 on your first question. We know how Russ is, he's going to name his kindergarten teacher. He's going to name the bus driver. He's going to name the janitor. He's going to name every single person he graduated with from high school, from college. Yeah, we're going to see a ton of that. The man is unrelenting in his positivity, and I think we're going to see that shine. I genuinely do think that he is a pretty good fit to be, a sports broadcaster. Falls right in line with the Tony Romos and JJ Watts and good NFL players who can probably talk about the game on a consistent level. That being said, I'm not setting my watch to see him on Sunday. My one real thought about all of this is, I do, as someone who is married like you are, Noah, I imagine his wife was like, I swear to God, if you're just sitting at the house next year, I'm gonna
dude, Sierra's never home, dude. You think Sierra's home?
Do you think
she was on the what was it was some water park float on the Macy's Day Parade singing about her and Russ getting it on in front of a bunch of children? She's never home. She's never home, dude. Russ has a whole house to himself. They don't. Well, no.
You might be correct, but if their home is like anything like mine, wife saying you better not be sitting on your butt.
No way,
play football, but you better go get another job.
She might be saying that just to be like, get him out of the house, dude. I can't. If this guy calls himself Mr. Unlimited one more time, I swear to God, I'm gonna put a plate through his head. I'm gonna smack him right in the face. Not happening. Shout out to Russ. I am excited. I will be driving to Baltimore Sunday morning, and I will have the CBS broadcast on the phone, chilling to make sure that I don't miss a minute of good old Russell Wilson. All right, let's talk some Pittsburgh Steelers football here. Injuries on both sides of the ball for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but the Baltimore Ravens got hit with the bigger news today, and that is Lamar Jackson. The Ravens quarterback is now dealing with an ankle injury. He was limited yesterday. They thought everything was going to be good and grand and he would be back. Nope, it went the opposite. He took a step backwards and is not practicing for the Baltimore Ravens. Opens the door for change right now at the quarterback position for the Baltimore Ravens in a pivotal, and this is the definition of pivotal game in the NFL between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens. Any other year, I tell you, Lamar is going to play. But again, like history tells us, Lamar is not always healthy against the Steelers. Lamar is not the guy that you can say is 100% going to play even when he is banged up, because he has missed a lot of games, especially those against the Pittsburgh Steelers late in the season. And if this season has shown us anything, it's that you never know what's going to happen on the injury front and if guys are actually going to suit up or not, because there are a lot of players missing a lot of time right now that you think, oh, he'll play. And then he doesn't play, and it shocks the world. Lamar missing practice. What was your thoughts? Are you concerned? It came as a surprise. I scoured the internet to make sure that this is not overhyped nonsense and that This is factual. And the internet told me, Twitter told me, Baltimore Ravens reporters told me that Lamar was supposed to be there. Lamar was ready to go and is now not on the field. You think there's a chance he's not out there on Sunday?
I think there's a chance. I don't view this as being a huge momentum shifting update. It is not what you want to hear, and I trust the insights of like people like Jeff Streback, who covers the Baltimore
Yeah.
Ravens for The Athletic, I want to say, and that's who I saw put this out first. It is certainly a step in the wrong direction. They did not. He was probably going to be limited again in practice today, like he was yesterday. This was not part of the plan. I'm not ready to be like, he's not going to play, because AFC North football, everyone on both sides knows what this game means for either team, what it means for taking a hold of the AFC North division, for postseason hopes. Lamar Jackson might be banged up. I fully anticipate him playing unless there has been a significant new development or setback with this ankle. Barring that, I do expect him to play. But if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, Mike Tomlin said the emphasis this week was shutting down the run, right? And doing everything they can to adjust to it. This should, in theory, make that approach a little bit easier if you have a damaged Lamar Jackson, if you have an under 100% Lamar Jackson. So, again, I anticipate him playing, but it could, hopefully, if the Steelers are preparing correctly and doing what they said they are going to, coming into this week 14 matchup, it should play to the Steelers' run defense favor. But as we've said throughout the entire season, anytime there is a golden opportunity for this defense to take a step forward, specifically the run defense, we see them kind of do the opposite. So it's kind of a lose-lose to me right now. Do you feel like he's not going to play? Do you feel like it's 50-50? Where are you at?
I'm 50-50. I think Lamar over time has been the quarterback against the Pittsburgh Steelers that Wednesday injury, Thursday injury news we brush off and say like, nah, he's going to play. And then he doesn't end up playing. I've watched so many games of Tyler Huntley and Anthony Brown and, random backup here playing against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And unfortunately, they win those games sometimes, which is crazy. But Lamar to me is so banged up and things are so crazy that, yes, do I think he's going to push to play? Certainly. Do I also think that the Ravens are well aware that they sit right in the mix of the AFC North? And yes, a loss to the Steelers is huge, but if you could lose to the Steelers and win the rest of your games, including the last one against Pittsburgh, your odds of actually making the playoffs are significantly higher. I also think that they're well aware of that situation as well. So I'm not saying he's not playing. I'm saying that I'm leaving the door open for him not playing. I'm also going to leave the door open for this, just like you said. You remove Lamar Jackson from the run game in Baltimore. Are they even as dangerous as we think? Derrick Henry hasn't had a massive game all season, and he's splitting time with guys like Keaton Mitchell. Does it pull back? Does it open the curtain a little bit to say that the Pittsburgh Steelers could find the success to actually shut down Baltimore? And does a non-running football team in Baltimore make you nervous? At least compared to what a full-strength Baltimore team would be.
Well, I again, in theory, I certainly believe that no Lamar Jackson benefits the Steelers and their run defense. In actuality, I don't know how much changes if the Baltimore Ravens go from Lamar Jackson to Snoop Huntley, or if the if the Baltimore Ravens go from Lamar Jackson to Cooper Rush. Like the threat of the run is enough to make a difference for the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, and it's not like they didn't know what was going on or have time to figure out what was happening against the Buffalo Bills or in all of these other situations where they could have made adjustments and responded better. I think it is, again, it should play to their favor, but I think the reality is there are multiple quarterbacks in Baltimore who have shown a little bit of to be the thorn in the sides of the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I don't take it for granted, and I don't think that their running game will be anything less regardless of who is in at the quarterback position, and that is more a statement on how bad the Steelers' run defense is, not how unstoppable the Ravens offense is.
Yes. Yeah, it's so sad to say, but it's also very true to say that the Ravens offense is not produced to the level that we expected them to produce this season. But at the same time, the Steelers defense has been atrocious time and time and time again. I think I added 6 there. I sit somewhere in the same boat. I do think that a banged up Lamar Jackson who isn't as mobile but is still trying to be mobile is a name that the Steelers can take advantage of if they play correctly. I also think that a banged up Lamar Jackson might make some mistakes that we've seen against teams like Cincinnati next week. I'll say this, though. It has nothing to do with Lamar. It has everything to do with the coaching here. If there's another coach in the NFL right now who tends to find himself playing the same thing and doing the same things and finding success with them, but if there's one guy that's not going to adjust to Mike Tomlin's defense because he's going to run the same stuff too, it might be John Harbaugh, because he has never once, I take that back, not never once. Before last season, it was real difficult to say that John Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson were able to produce a high-flying, super performance offense against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I do think that there might be some possibility here that John Harbaugh's not going to adjust, and this might be the team that the Steelers defense could actually look okay against. Maybe I'm totally off base there, but maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm not.
No, I don't think you are. I don't think you are at all. Listen, there's no. I just think at the end of the day, there is no way the Steelers can expect any sort of easier route with this AFC North matchup. Like it wouldn't matter genuinely if you were at quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens. Like the AFC North matchups, you throw it all out the window, and it all just does not really matter. The previous 13 weeks will really be no indication or way to give us a glimpse into what will happen. You could just as well make an argument that this game could be 7-6 or 42-41, right? Like I wouldn't be surprised by any outcome between the Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, that's where my reasoning ends up lying here.
On the Steelers side of things, Kyle Duggar's dealing with a hand injury. Joey Porter Jr. is dealing with an elbow injury. Big news on both of them there. Are you nervous that they're going to miss? Are you more nervous that Chuck Clark's going to get the start and that somehow the Steelers cornerback room is going to be James Pierre, Asante Samuel Jr., and Brandon Eccles?
Yeah, I mean, that's a worrisome group. That's a worrisome secondary. Any situation at this point where Chuck Clark is playing the majority of the snaps or a meaningful set of defensive snaps, it brings me much worry, much concern. So you got to just hope that it is not as severe as maybe it was before. I don't know. Was Duggar limited, or did he miss practice yesterday, or this is his first day on the injury report?
I think it's his first day on the injury report. I think this is him.
I believe you're right. Yeah, yep. I think, yep. And so that's concerning. You got to hope that there's some positive developments on that tomorrow. Joey Porter Jr. is always banged up. I feel like he has been on the injury report every single day of every single week, the entire season. I anticipate him playing. I anticipate him picking up more bumps and bruises from the game this coming Sunday. But I think he'll be in there. Not that it makes the secondary that much more imposing, but I think Joey Porter, I feel confident in. The Kyle Duggar being a complete absence with a new injury is a bit concerning, though.
Yes, I agree. Joey, to me, is he's just banged up. I think he caught a little bit of Darius Slay this season, where it's just like, oh man, scrape my knee off the car door today. I'm gonna miss 2 to 4 weeks. That's what's gonna happen here. At least a quarter. Kyle Duggar is concerned. You pop up in the middle of the week with an injury, it usually does mean that something happened during practice, and that's obviously alarming. Where it goes from here, I just, Chuck Clark, Jabril. I expect Chuck Clark to play in this game nonetheless, but a massive amount of snaps, that is the last thing that the Pittsburgh Steelers need here. All right, let's avoid more injury talk. Let's talk some bold predictions for this one. I'm excited for them. Pittsburgh Steelers, Baltimore Ravens in this. Maybe Lamar Jackson, maybe not Lamar Jackson. I'm going to say 50-50 shot that he's out there. And then on the other side of the football, Aaron Rodgers is back. Adam Thielen's here. Arthur Smith. I don't know about you. Maybe I'm totally wrong here. I have come to adore Arthur Smith as a guy who tries so hard to hide things and is just a genuine guy of, hey, I'm a nice human. I speak to people really well. I care about people, and he wants to be a nice guy, but at the same time, he's like, I'm not going to give you information, but I'm going to do it in like an Arthur Smith kind of way. It's kind of like, I just like look at it like an old guy, and Arthur Smith's not old, but I look at it as like an old guy who's just like trying to lie to you, but he's being nice about it too. He's like, I can't tell you about what's in my basement, but something's in there. Yeah,
You wouldn't like it.
You want to like it. That's what Arthur Smith reminds me that every time he tries to hide something, and him not telling, but maybe telling if Adam Thielen's going to play this weekend was just awesome. Lots going on here. All right, let's do some bold predictions here. I'm gonna let you kick it off. I got 2 of them. I don't know how many you got. Hit me with it.
I'll throw you 2, and I am going to imagine that this one might step on one of yours, and I have some extras lined up if that's the case. But you let in here a little bit here. I think Arthur Smith, even if he wanted to hide the fact that he's very excited about Adam Thielen, he couldn't. And I think there was plans for him immediately. And I think we're just going to see how easy it is to debunk it's hard to get on the moving train theory, because Adam Thielen's going to play on Sunday and he's going to be a heavy feature. My first bold prediction is he leads the team in receptions and records a touchdown in his debut game 4 days after being claimed off of waivers.
That's not even bold. Like, it's bold, but it's in the realm of the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's so doable. What do you got to catch? 3 footballs? Like, is that what you
wrote down? I wrote down 7, but
7, dude.
I think that would be.
You're the only person that you're trailing with less. If you catch more than 4 balls in a game, the only person that you're competing with is Kenneth Gainwell. That's it. That's the only guy.
Maybe Darnell, if team MVP, maybe. Darnell Washington.
It depends on the week. You know what I mean? It's been 4 weeks since his last big game, so that could add up. It could be, you know what I mean? The cycle may be here. We've talked a lot about Pat Freiermuth this week, which means that maybe Pat's going to have a game finally. Who knows? That's obviously bold. It should be bold. It's not, though, because I could see it happening easy. It would, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm not even going to give you a Panturi 4 on my shock level of an Adam Thielen leading the team. I'm going to go quality 2.5. That would be, you might not even get an eyebrow raise out of me. You might just get like a, yep.
If not for the desperation that this team is clearly showing and how pitiful their offense is, I think it would be a much more bold prediction. So let me see if this next one does anything for you.
I will say that if this is week 7, there's zero chance that happens. But
fair,
where we are, spot on. Love it.
Fair. All right. Well, here we go. I'll give a defense. Here's my defensive one, right? Like I talked about Asante Samuel Jr. the other day. I think he's going to continue to start on the outside. I think he's going to just keep on keeping on, and he is going to become a full-on starter the rest of the year. I think he's going to make a splash play. I think he's going to guess on a couple of routes correctly. He's going to get his first interception with the Pittsburgh Steelers and lead the team in tackles, because I think this guy's going to have to be a pivotal part of stopping the run.
I love it, dude. I love it. I don't know if I'm less convinced on that one than Thielen, but these are bold predictions, obviously. But I still love it. I think the impact of an Asante Samuel Jr. could be a game changer for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I don't care about the Steelers defense taking like 7 strides forward this year. If that happens and they won the Super Bowl, that'd be awesome. I'd be so pissed because the Super Bowl credential window closed and I said the Steelers are 6-5. That's not happening. And I would probably have some harsh words for Mike Tomlin, most likely. But I do like it. Let me toss one about Asante back at you. Okay. My bold prediction is that Asante Samuel Jr. has more interceptions this year than his dad has bold takes on the Steelers by only 1. And I think it's that's at least 2 interceptions this season.
That's limited time, but I think the bigger question mark in that is, can Asante Samuel Sr. not crap on the Steelers. Like, that is tougher, you know?
No
He
chance.
clearly does not like the team. You know, he's
No
not a
chance.
big fan of where his son's playing right now, if I had to guess. But
Dude, do you know how pissed he probably was when Junior
mad.
called him? Hey, I'm going to Pittsburgh. Hell, you are. Hell, you are going to Pittsburgh. Yeah, you better change that name there, brother. You no longer a junior. You're a get out of my house. Out of the will. Out of the will. I wouldn't be
Asante
surprised.
Samuel bastard.
I wouldn't be surprised if at one point he just refers to Asante Samuel Jr. in trash talk without like talking about him like he's his son or knows him at all. You know, just like, dude, Asante Samuel Jr. absolute trash, absolute trash. Yeah, crazy. All right, let me hit you with my two here on these bold predictions. Number one, I'm going to start on the offensive side of the football here. I think Jaylen Warren and Kenneth Gainwell are the only fun part of the Steelers offense week to week. I mean, Derrick Henry, I think is becoming more and more, but I also think that the Ravens have this weird, like, we're trying to reserve our 32-year-old running back thing going on, which is just crazy to me, but it's what they're doing. My bold prediction one is that the Pittsburgh Steelers running back duo combined outpaces Derrick Henry by at least 45 yards in this game.
Wow. You said at least 45 is going
45.
to be the difference.
If it's 100, it's 55 yards for Derrick Henry. That's where I think this places. At least 45 yards.
Now there's a bold prediction. I don't agree with it at all, but I think that is a hell of a bold prediction because listen, the Steelers, in order to turn this thing around, in order to make a statement, have to come out here and stop the run. They have to come out here and assert themselves in the run on offense. So I love it. I think we'd all love to see that.
I think it'd be awesome. Again, like, the Steelers are so disappointing right now, but the most fun I'm having is when Jaylen Warren and Kenneth Gainwell touch football, because I'm like, both you guys, dude, you're just like Mighty Mouse running around out there. I'm just loving every second of it. It's a good time. Yes. Let's flip it over to the defensive side of the football here to close this bad boy out. Jacob, tomorrow we're going to make our picks, okay? Tomorrow we're going to make our picks. Pittsburgh Steelers, Baltimore Ravens, AFC North lead. Here it is. Here's the big shebang. I think this is the game that Mike Tomlin shuts us up for 1 week. It only lasts 1 week, but it lasts a week. And it's going to happen on the defensive side of the football. I think the Steelers defense scores. I think the Steelers defense scores as many points in this game as Lamar Jackson does.
Okay. Wow.
That's running and passing the football.
So you think Lamar Jackson is going to do nothing? Or do you think the Steelers defense is going to be just an absolute freak show menace on Sunday?
I think it could be either. But I think when this thing's said and done, the Pittsburgh Steelers, their defense has added as many points to a scoreboard as Lamar Jackson did in this game. So if it's 14-14, Steelers defense scored 7. That's what I think happens. And you guys are going to see you're going to see my pick tomorrow, and it's going to add some context of just like how nuts I think this game actually gets for the Steelers.
Oh, I'm excited.
I'm excited
That's
too.
That's bold as hell.
I could see it happening. And I'll say I'm confident that it's not going to be 0. Okay. I'm also kind of confident it might be more than 7. It's going to be a crazy time.
If Asante Samuel Jr. is part of those, defensive points, I'm great with it.
Me too. I love what I'm seeing. We'll see what happens. I'm so excited for my picks tomorrow because I've been holding this in all week. Like, I was sitting there on Tuesday, man. I was just like, I got the Mike Tomlin fart building up, and I was just like, woo, I gotta let you out. And I haven't. You guys, my wife, haven't farted in 4 days. It's crazy, dude. That's like a
better out than in, I always say.
Yeah, right now the tummy's hurting, dude. The dummy's hurting from picking the Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll see what happens tomorrow. All right, guys. With that said, that's everything on our agenda. We're going to take a quick break on the other side of it. We're going to start answering your questions, so toss them in the chat. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
Pittsburgh, this one's for you. From the voices behind all Steelers talk comes Black and Gold apparel, your go-to for bold, fan-driven merch that reps the city, the Steelers, and everything in between. Whether you bleed black and gold or just love that Pittsburgh grit, we've got something for you. It's more than a podcast. It's a community. And thanks to your support, we're proud to bring the passion from our mics to your closets. Gear up, stand out, and show the world what real fans look like. Shop now at blackandgoldapparel.myshopify.com.
Alrighty. Shout out to our members. Shout out to our super chatters. Can't thank you guys enough for all that you do, especially in this good old holiday season. With that said, we're going to start it off with Miguel. This season is the end result of a decade of 9-8 seasons never getting or willing to trade up for a top 10 draft pick. Mike Tomlin loves to revel in mediocrity. The craziest part here is that the Steelers have traded up for a top 10 pick in the last 10 years, and that pick was Devin Bush, which may be the... Where do you put Devin in the picks of Mike Tomlin? Top 4 worst picks by Mike Tomlin? It's got to be up there.
Man.
First round picks. Devin Bush. Picks. Like you got Artie Burns, Devin Bush, Jarvis Jones.
Yep.
Like that's, I think those are top 3 right there.
Those are 3 real bad ones. Real bad ones. Listen, Devin Bush, they should have known. The moment he ate that grass, man, it's crazy. Is that right? I know he stomped on it and stuff, did all that crazy stuff, but I'm pretty sure he like ate some grass too.
Probably, dude.
It's too much.
I would never in my life eat Ohio grass, dude. Just couldn't do it. Just couldn't do that. That's the wildest part of this whole situation. Is the one time he's done it, he's failed. I don't disagree with anything that you're saying. Don't disagree with it at all. If they trade up this year, I might be a little disappointed depending on who they go get. To be honest with you, there's one name that I would be okay with. That name, 2 names. You want to go get Fernando Mendoza for some crazy reason that he falls out at number 1? Great. Go do it. Number 2 would be Caleb Downs. It's the only other name.
Dude's a freak.
Yeah, it's the only other name. Suits out enough. Man, Huntley scares me more than Lamar. Honestly, we own Lamar Jackson. Huntley plays like a better pure passer. There is something about the backup quarterbacks in Pittsburgh that just or in Baltimore that tend to play well. That being said, Lamar and Derrick Henry ran for about 700 yards in the playoff game just 11 months ago. Actually, it's been 11 months. We're so close to forgetting that. Here we are. I know you got some stat there. Go ahead.
I was just looking up how many. Tyler Huntley has 2 touchdowns and 3 interceptions against the Steelers.
That's a stud right there. That's a Pro Bowler. That guy made the Pro Bowl.
That guy did make the Pro Bowl. That's crazy.
Over Kenny Pickett, which just shows you.
He is 1-3 against the Steelers.
He is 1-3. He is 1-3. I knew that.
Okay. All right. Listen, I had the same fear, and maybe it's not like, I don't know, as based in like the win, reflected in the win-loss record, but anytime the Steelers have to face a mobile quarterback that they aren't quite prepared for, chaos just ensues, and that's what terrifies me. Right alongside our boy Duff.
Good old Duff. Smooth as Buddhist. Lamar about to run for 100 on us with a broken leg. If Lamar Jackson runs for 100 yards on a broken leg, dude, don't even get on the bus back home. The plane should already be gone. They should all show up. Buses should show up to the airport. What's going on? What just happened? And then there should be a man should walk on, hand Mike Tomlin a note. And on that note, it should just say, "You've all been fired." Every person on the bus, every one of them, all the players, all the staff, every single one of them. It'd be awful. Michael, missed your comment here. Toss it back in the chat. I'll make sure that I catch it the next time that you do. Appreciate you. Rooney Tunes. Jonnu is to Smith what Goddard is to Goddard? Did I say that right? It's the Jimmy Neutron.
This one might be the first reference that's lost on me. I haven't. I
don't
can't
know
remember
this one
Jimmy
either.
Neutron. Did you
This
ever
is the
watch
one
Jimmy
I
Neutron?
should know. Yeah. Cartoons, old school cartoons would be the ones I get. That's when I was, you know what I mean?
Oh, is that
wasn't-
the dog? It's the dog. It's the robot dog in Jimmy
It's the
Neutron.
robot dog. It's the robot dog. It's so true though.
That's unreal.
It's so true though. It's so true
Who's the
though.
little kid who is it? Carl Weezer or something like that in Jimmy Neutron. That was my favorite character.
The redhead dude. Yeah.
the redhead.
Yeah.
Like,
Good old Carl Weezer, dude.
Yeah, dude, he's the man.
So good. That's so accurate, dude. That's so accurate. If you ever once in a while, the wife goes out of town, people will be like, what do? You're like a movie guy. I'll crack like 6 beers and just watch like Fairly Odd Parents and just be like, this is awesome. This is so fun. It's
wild.
Steelers D holds them to 13 and we lose 13-12. Oh my gosh.
What?
I'm up 40.
I was just gonna ask you, would you rather this be like a barn burner, a shootout, they go down 45-44, like it's like the Bengals game all over, or would you rather this type of loss happen?
So you're talking like a 33-32 loss or a 13-12 loss?
Yeah, which one feels better?
That is a great question. That's a really good question. I think at least a 33-32 loss, like you're having fun with it. You're enjoying it. 13-12, I'm not watching that game by the end of that game. I'm hating life.
Yeah.
What would you do?
I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, I would prefer to watch an interesting game. So I definitely I'd prefer to be entertained and then annoyed by how it ended, much like how I was for that Cincinnati Bengals Thursday night football game. Like I was like, this is super fun to watch. It's awful. We have so much to talk about and write about, but like this is at least fun 3.5 hours. If I watch the Steelers punt 8 times,
yeah,
I mean, I'd rather punt my own face 8 times. Like that's the truth of
that. Shout out, dude. Shout out to Corliss Waitman earning those checks. Nate needs more salad. What are your opinions on Jonnu Smith so far? He seemed to not be living up to the hype he was getting before the season. Yeah, pretty spot on. My opinions of Jonnu Smith is that I don't think Jonnu Smith is a bad player at all. I think that right now the Pittsburgh Steelers have this thing where everybody in Pittsburgh is not good. Don't blame the players as much as I blame just like the curse of the Steelers here. I also think that the Steelers overpaid for Jonnu in a contract. Had no reason to go trade for him at all with Miami because you had Pat Freiermuth and Darnell Washington, and he is just not playing well in Pittsburgh, which means that it's hard to justify any of it. My thoughts on Jonnu is that it was a wasted transition. Like, why did you make it in the first place? That's my thoughts on Jonnu.
It makes the trade, like the trade with the Miami Dolphins was initially a huge steal for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It has turned into, like they both got rid of some players they didn't want, both got some players that might have helped, to now being like, did the Steelers lose this trade just straight up? Like, because Jonnu Smith is a non-factor in this offense. I talked about this before on Puntori's playbook already. Like I deemed the Jonnu Smith experiment a failure, and I have deemed it an experiment. This experiment a failure for several weeks now. I'm not a fan of it. Not necessarily his fault. This offense just does not know how to highlight its playmakers. Like that's the plain and simple truth of it, is they don't know how to do it. You can say the same thing about Jalen Warren, about DK Metcalf, hell, even about Darnell Washington, who's their breakout offensive star. They still have weeks where they don't even get him the ball. So like, maybe not a total reflection of Jonnu Smith's talents, but the fact remains he's just not a fit here, and they can't figure out how to make it work.
I agree. And that seems to be like 85% of the roster right now. At minimum. Smoothest Buddhist, a drinking game. Take a shot every time the Steelers punt. You will not survive that game. Please do not play that game.
Drink responsibly.
Please drink responsibly. Does not condone drinking or driving and or taking 11 shots in a game before halftime. That either one of those Not great ideas for your life. Lindsay, is Ramsey hurt? Why is he not practicing? Had a vet day yesterday, I believe. Returned to practice. Everybody gets a vet. So many guys get a vet day, but Ramsey's one of them. He's not hurt. From my understanding, he's good to go. He had nothing on practice report today, correct?
Yeah, no injury designation, just marked as a rest day for him. They've been, to add, I guess, a little bit more context to this, the Steelers have been experimenting with different veteran days off this week. Like we saw TJ take a Friday off. We saw Isaac Seumalo was taking a Friday off. Yeah, and Cam has taken different days of the week off than he usually does. And that it's all under the attempts to space out when guys are getting rest and to see if that has any effect. So wouldn't be too worried about where Jalen Ramsey is at. If he misses practice tomorrow for whatever reason, now we're having a very difficult discussion.
Yes, I agree. Carl, mean cup of Joe green bean salad spackler. Bold prediction: Adam Thielen ends up with more yards, touchdowns, and receptions in remaining games this year than all other wide receivers, including DK, combined, my friend, in the remaining games. The answer is, but like, what does that number need to be? 85? 100? Yes. Yes.
Sure. Yeah. That's a real question, right? Like okay, here's where I get torn on this question, because like DK Metcalf, right? Like he's projected to fit. He's doing nothing, but he's not necessarily that far off of his career pace in terms of targets and receptions. It's just the yards and all that stuff are not adding up. Like he's probably going to finish with over 100 targets unless he just completely drops off his like share of volumes. And that is going to be, he's never not gotten 100 targets in a season. So I don't know what that yardage will rack up. It might just be 85 yards over these next 5 games, but he's at 75 targets right now. DK Metcalf is. So I got to assume he's getting at least 25 more in these next 5 games. And that might be 25 yards, 25 catches or 25 yards, but
that's true.
I can't. That's true. So bad. That just means that this, like, I just don't want to accept that reality, Noah. Like, I don't want to watch 5 more games of this receiving group catching 4 passes. Like, I just can't. I'd rather cover the Pirates.
Let me go over DK Metcalf's stat sheet since his game in Cleveland when it was like this big crazy game. Okay. 3 receptions for 50 yards. He had 5 targets, dropped a pass. 7 targets, 5 receptions, 55 yards, a drop. 4 targets for 2 receptions and 6 yards. 7 receptions, 7 targets, 3 receptions, 2 drops, 35 yards. 8 targets, 5 receptions, 49 yards. 8 targets, 5 receptions, 22 yards. 5 targets, 3 receptions, 32 yards. All Adam's got to do is average like 35 yards a game, and he is smoked DK. Now, receptions too, like it's not that. What do you got to average? Like 4 receptions a game? Very possible.
It's just hard because, when this Steelers offense is clicking, you got 12 guys catching 1 pass, including Spencer Anderson. So it's going to be hard for Adam Thielen to really command like a greater share of receptions like that. And that's, again, like, that's like, it's not good, right? Like, 45 receptions for DK Metcalf on 75 targets. How many drop passes? You just listed off, I think 6 or 5, in that stretch. Yeah. So he's not going to be 1,000-yard receiver, but I bet you they're going to throw the ball his way at least 25 to 30 more times. At least. And I think Adam Thielen is going to be at least second on that,
that's my thing, is that as long as you beat DK, all you got to do is collectively get like another 20 yards in the last 5 games. And if you beat DK by 20 yards, I think you beat the whole thing combined.
Yeah. Because I don't think, Calvin Austin and Roman Wilson will maybe combine for 100 yards the rest of the year, if they're lucky, if they are beyond lucky. So that's not a problem. Freiermuth might have one good game. Freiermuth might not even. I don't even know if the Steelers would notice if Freiermuth didn't show up for a game at this point. So that's not hard.
No. It's
Man,
no.
How depressing.
It's a good time. It's a good time. Nate needs more salad. Any updates on Adam Thielen and how he's looking in practice? I thought he looked pretty quick. It's really hard to judge in practice. Everybody's running at like a snail's pace most of the time. It's not very active. It's more so practice is more so. It's not about talent and how good people look. It's just about who's playing where. That's why you go to practice. You go to practice to see if he's working with the first team. You go to practice to see if somebody's out there who's injured, but like actual practice itself, it pretty much looks like me, Jacob, and a bunch of you guys running, don't get me wrong, full speed, but even then is very slow compared to an NFL team.
Yeah. 100%. Like, look, like it's, the intensity level. And that was, I guess, one of the questions that I had, coming out of post-game press conferences and stuff like after the Bills loss was there was like a lot of conversations about like the intensity and intentionality at practice. And I just wonder how much of that can actually be brought, because you're not going to like bring it up to game speed, right? Like what happens if, you know what I mean? Like you're not going to bring that to it. There's a need to understand and process what potential looks the opposing team is going to bring your way in this next matchup, right? And that's what they do, but they do it at a way that is a simulated pace. You can see what happens if they get through all the way. You can see what happens if the coverage breaks down, if it doesn't break down. And I think trying to figure out it's different in training camp, by comparison, because you have guys who are fighting for jobs, right? So they need to stick out in one-on-one practice reps. They need to stick out at every moment of camp in any moment in order to secure a spot. But once you are on the team preparing for the Baltimore Ravens, your role that week, if you are Adam Thielen, is to get acquainted with all of the checks, all of the possible route combinations that might come your way if you're in the game, and then applying it against the Baltimore Ravens. So he's probably looks fine. I'm eager to see him tomorrow, right? Because today's Thursday, so I'll be there tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm eager to see him in person. I'm not going to be like, this guy's he's wide receiver 2 now, just because he, cooks Darryl Porter Jr. in practice. I'm not, I can't get that excited.
No, you're just looking for again, what they're anything that's different. It's the Spencer Anderson thing. You know what I mean? The second Spencer Anderson caught a pass in practice, you're sitting there going, all right, well, now we know that's there. Chris Boswell getting a concussion. We saw that 4 days in advance, and I was like, dude, there's no chance they're going to do this. There's no chance. And then they freaking did it. Enigma After Dark. Guys, am I wrong for having a laugh at Mark Andrews' stats as the Ravens' all-time Triple Crown leader? I think it's just as embarrassing as if the Steelers organization started today. They'd probably match up. But no, I think it's wild to think that guys like Anquan Bolden were there, and I don't know, that's the only guy I have in my head that and didn't do anything, or did stuff but didn't stick around long enough to hold this. It's just crazy to me.
Well, yeah, who did Mark Andrews even pass? I'm imagining Todd Heap. That is the only receiving option in Baltimore that I can think of that had any sort of longevity or success. And maybe that's just me being disrespectful to the Ravens, but I don't care.
I don't think you are.
Yeah, I don't think you are. But yeah, no, I think you bring good context because they've only been around since 30 years as an organization. So
yeah,
it's not like they're gonna have the John Stallworths and the Lynn Swans and these guys who, played for a whole decade with the team in the 70s or something like that to compare history with. So I'm going to guess it's Todd Heap is who we passed. Also, shout out Mark Andrews for getting a 3-year contract extension. The dude's 81. Good for him.
He is 100 years old. He's actually not. He's 29, but super crazy. I think that's the crazier part is that this man is 140 and we don't even. He's really 29. Diamond, what Asante Samuel Jr.'s dad wanted him to play for Mike T. I don't know. Maybe I missed that. And if I did, I apologize. I know Asante Samuel as a consistent Pittsburgh Steelers hater. Consistent Pittsburgh Steelers hater. But again, could be wrong.
Could be wrong. I don't know. I just know what he said recently.
Yeah, shout out to good old Asante. Shout out to
Do you
good
know
old
who is-
Asante.
Shout out to the comments for letting us know. And now I'm looking at the Ravens all-time receiving leaders. Tarek
Yeah, maybe.
Mason is their
Shout
second
out
all-time.
Derek
And I was
Mason.
close. Todd Heap was third.
That's awesome.
And
That's awesome.
And he nearly doubled everyone else in terms of games played. Todd Heap, if you don't put a little respect on this guy's name, tight end for the Ravens for 133 games. Then Mark Andrews has been there 116 games.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah,
It's crazy
because no one's there long enough.
Things. No, it's all
Steve
flip
Smith.
flopping. Anquan Bolden, all those
Yeah.
guys, all those guys.
Mike Wallace.
Forgot about Mike Wallace. Wow, I forgot about Mike Wallace.
Mhm.
Wow, I forgot Mike Wallace played there. Crazy times. Leroy, did Adam Thielen get moved up to the 53-man roster? Yes, he was actually when he was claimed to the 53-man roster, so he was there originally. He'll be good to go. Not sure if he's going to play on Sunday, but I have a hard time believing he is not. If they suit up Scotty Miller instead of Adam Thielen, those chants better start soon, early, and they better be freaking loud.
Dude.
Nate needs more salad. Bold prediction. The Bengals are about to win the division and the Ravens and Steelers miss the playoffs. That would be so crazy. I can't even say I'd be upset about it because it would be so fun to watch the Bengals just go on this run and pull this thing off somehow, some way.
I mean, it's possible because this division is just absolute poopy. So he's the best quarterback in the bunch. So I mean, fair bet. The deck is stacked, but fair bet.
I agree. Yinzer Jake. Noah and Jacob, what do you think is more likely? Which route does Adam Thielen catch more passes on, screens or quick outs?
That makes me laugh because it's probably a nice split.
It is. It's probably a good split. The couple little jet sweep handoff thingies. You know what I'm saying? I could see them all. A little quick out action.
It's going to be so great. They're going to come out in jumbo personnel, and they're going to have heavy set on the left side. They'll have Adam Thielen by himself on the right, and they're going to go screen pass to the right, and that's going to be his first catch as a Steeler. And they're going to be like, "Whoa, boy.
-2 yards, baby! There it is. There
boy.
it is. We're gonna have to catch. DK is gonna have to catch a -3 yard pass now to make sure that Adam finishes as the leader at the end of the season. It's gonna happen. It's going to happen. Pittsburgh Hornets out of the MLB, NFL, and NHL. What are the worst logo? What's the worst logo?
That's a great question.
It's a great question.
I got
the Browns. The Browns logo sucks because it's nothing. Doesn't even exist, and sometimes it's the stupid elf. That elf is stupid, guys. Let's be honest. That elf gets me aggravated.
No, it
was last season.
When did they? Never mind. I don't have a complete thought. I apologize.
Okay. All right.
Be truthful.
The Browns are on there for sure. Garbage logo. Who else is on there?
I know the Bears is like classic and they have history, but like it's just a C.
It is just they have the bear too. I think that's where they went wrong. Is they should have just kept the bear. Should have always just been the bear. The bear was cool. Yeah. It was a nice rugged bear. I love a bear. Love a good bear. The MLB's got a lot of dumb ones. The MLB's full of dumb ones. They're all terrible. None
of them are great.
They're all just like an initial, and you're just like, wow, dude, look at that. The Texas Rangers. Who would have thought TR? Crazy. Like. They're all terrible.
They really are. Yeah, there's nothing good in the MLB. Shout out America's pastime. It's great. Hey, you know what the Phillies is sometimes? The Liberty Bell.
That's true.
Sick as hell.
True.
And look, I love like wearing a Pittsburgh Pirates hat, right?
Oh,
like that Pirates P
too.
is sick, but like is your graphic design teacher loving it? I don't know.
No. Here's another great answer here. The Jets. What are we doing here?
So
the Jets is so bad. The Jets is so bad. The Jets might be the worst one in the NFL. Like it's potentially up there. It's potentially up there.
I think maybe the NHL might have the worst logos collectively.
I think they're the ones so old.
You just don't even know what you're looking at half the time. Like
Yeah.
if you ask someone to describe to me like what the Minnesota Wild logo is portraying, people are just like, I'm pretty sure it's just a collage. And you're like, no, it's like the Minnesota like forest. And you're like, I don't think it is. And you're like, no, you're right, because you can't tell because it looks like garbage.
Yeah, no, that's
or
dumb.
like, do you know what like a hurricane warning flag looks like? You know what I mean? Like, unless you live near a beach, you don't know that the Carolina Hurricanes thing is. That's where they get their logo from, right? Like that's what I mean. Like you don't NHL, they gotta help themselves out here.
That's awful. That's awful. I didn't know any of those. Didn't know any of those. Those are terrible. That's terrible. Leroy,
I love hockey, but bad.
Oh yeah, for sure. Doesn't mean you can't acknowledge that their logos are trash, but yeah, you're right. Sucks to say Lamar might not play and watch. We still get carved up by King Henry and Mark Andrews. If Lamar doesn't play, does your confidence level in the Steelers raise at all?
No, not at all.
Really?
It doesn't matter who's at quarterback for the Ravens. Like it really doesn't. Like the game plan doesn't change much, and it's on the Steelers to stop it. And it's going to be like either way, they have to stop the run. So
yeah,
they haven't proven to me that they could beat, the East Jessup Crusaders or whoever you played for in high school.
Shut up. Didn't play for them, but shout out.
Yeah, I don't even know if that's a high school at all, but they couldn't stop the Central Catholic Vikings. You know what I mean? In their run game, who are, my alma mater is playing for a state title this weekend. Shout out. But
shout out, dude. Shout out. Are they really state title, huh?
Yeah. It's because prep schools dominate the state of Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah, dude. Football. They just,
it's them versus like
you guys are
another Philly prep
recruiting us. Yeah, dude. It's
the kids I went to school with, I remember sophomore year of when I was at Central Catholic, there were like 10 new kids just magically showed up and they all were like over 6 foot and jacked. And I was like, football team's going places.
Football teams. It's like, hey guys, I'm going to get a t-shirt because we're going to the state championship. Shout out to them. Shout out to them. Carl Minkup, Joe Green Bean, Salad Spackler. Bold predictions. Steelers hold Baltimore to under 100 yards rushing, which means that the Steelers get 145 yards and then give up 300 yards to the Dolphins. I could see that happening. The Dolphins, the Dolphins are a good running football team. That running back's good. It is. I'm not going to say he's not. I could see it happening.
I can certainly, what I 100% am certain about happening is that the Steelers could get a big win here against the Baltimore Ravens and then utterly crap the bed against the Miami Dolphins. Giving up that many rushing yards to the Miami Dolphins in a December game played in Pittsburgh feels like just something that should not happen, but you never know.
You never know. Unfortunately, you never know. Dougie frustrated. Do we see any changes on either side of the ball from Tomlin this week with all that happened since last weekend? I don't think so. If I had to guess, no. It's really, I don't know. I don't have an answer for you. I wish I did, but if I had to guess, my answer would be no.
Yeah, what changes are going to actually happen here? You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to see any new defensive line configurations, right? Like, don't expect Y.A. Black to suddenly play all of his snaps at nose tackle or in the center of that defensive line. Don't expect, Jabril Peppers to play 95% of the defensive snaps if there are any injuries to Kyle Duggar that are, serious. There won't be a ton of major adjustments. Adam Thielen getting in the game is the major change, right? On either side of the ball.
Shout out. And I don't know. We'll see what happens. Piper, will Deshaun Elliott play again this season? No, I do not think so. He said he'll be back next year. I'm kind of taking his word for it. Smootest Buddhist. If we lose to Tua at home, Tomlin needs to be fired before he gets off the field. I agree, especially in December. Like what he did. I can't stay outside for more than 10 minutes right now. You're telling me Tua's coming here with his plate of pasta, all chili, and he's going to play well? No.
His brain's going to freeze out there.
It's not happening. The Tasman is A-Rod playing this Sunday. Yes, he is. He will be out there fully dressed, ready to go. And get an introduction to the AFC North in a absolutely wild way to get introduced to the AFC North. One day he's going to tell his grandkids, he's going to be like, everybody talked this up, and let me tell you, soft, whole division, super soft.
You think Aaron Rodgers is going to say that?
To his grandkids? Yeah, for sure.
While they pass the familial ayahuasca bowl?
Yeah. I mean, everybody's got their traditions. You know what I'm saying? I eat turkey on this trip. I eat turkey on Thanksgiving, and Aaron Rodgers and his family hang out in the dark. I don't know. Whatever they do. Whatever they do.
Go to the astral plane.
Donnie, what do you think of the vendor who shouts vending, vending, vending every time you do your live walk down Allegheny Ave? I love it, to be honest with you. I actually, crazy enough, stopped and talked to some of those guys because somebody was selling candy bars for like Girl Scouts or something, and I caught her in the video, and then I was like, all right, I gotta pause and I gotta go buy some candy bars. I can't do that to the lady. And I went and I started talking to these guys, and they're like, dude, I see you every single week, and I've always wondered what you do. And I'm like, I wish we stayed that mystery for years and years, because that's what it was. I like him. I think he's at this point, it's just part of the family. Just part of the family. I hope you guys like him too.
If you want to know how to make a sucker out of Noah Strackbine, just set up a booth somewhere near a stadium. That guy, you'll get this guy he'll empty his wallet for like a candy bar or a coaster. This guy. I'm
shocked that I haven't bought like a Peppy sandwich one time that I don't need because I get fed at the game, just because I feel like that's how that guy lives and makes a living, you know? 100%. And shout out.
He's just making a living. Come on.
Making a living.
Let him go.
Michael, shout out to Noah Jacob and Steelers Nation. AST was #1 on my YouTube year in review. That's so crazy, man. That's awesome. That makes me feel, I can't even describe to you what it makes me feel. Joy. So much joy. That is incredible. Shout out to all you guys. It is a good moment to take a second and say thank you, because we really love you, and we can't thank you guys at all for anything for everything that you guys do for us. It's crazy. It's crazy. Tort, I asked Alexa to play a Renegade. She booed. What a transition here from good old Michael bringing the joy to Tort and his Alexa, man. Absolutely dying out here. Absolutely dying. Shout out. Somber. Steelers DB, our boy, good old Derek Bell, says he's on board with starting Howard the rest of the season. If we lose this game, I hope we lose. I am also on board with starting Will Howard for the remainder of the season after this game.
Definitely.
If you wanted to start him on Sunday, have a good time. Screw it, whatever. But yeah, I'm very much so on board with it happening, and I love that Derek is as well. Slim.
Yep.
Hey, no, did you see that Pat only played in 17 snaps against Buffalo, and why aren't they using him? Do you think it's that the OC's play call or the head coach, since he's scared of the middle of the field? I don't know what it is. I don't know if Pat pissed somebody off. I don't know if the Steelers chose to move on from Pat before the season started, and I have no idea. I could not tell you. What I do know is that it is crazy, and if I'm Pat Freiermuth, the first thing I'm doing on January, what is the date? 5th, which is the day after the season, is asking for a trade out of Pittsburgh. It's the first thing I'm doing.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's no good explanation, right? Like they say it's because the game plan each week changes and dictates that sort of thing, so other people get featured, but you cannot spin it. That is a heavy spin on the situation. He's just not a part of their offensive plans, plain and simple.
No, not at all. Also, I apologize that I said torta. Guys, I got the reading capacity. I'm staring. Look, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do here? Keeping it going here. AWOL. What's more likely? George Pickens gets a Super Bowl ring this year, or we win a playoff game? Right now, George getting a Super Bowl ring, which would be crazy to think that TJ Watt and Cam Hayward will retire without a playoff. Without a Super Bowl. TJ Watt might retire without a playoff win. Antonio Brown and George Pickens are going to hang out somewhere in Abu Dhabi with their Super Bowl rings. That's nuts.
I gotta say, I watched the first episode of in-season Hard Knocks, and them Jerry Jones Cowboys, they might just got something up their sleeves. I don't know.
Did you see today that George is also showing up late for practice and for meetings in Dallas? And they're just like, yeah, man, whatever. Who cares? Like,
they don't care.
They don't, dude.
They don't care at all. And I think really that's, you can disagree with it, but like that the Steelers maybe tried that, reached their limit. Like, I think the Cowboys, Jerry Jones just does not care about this sort of like quote unquote bad press, bad negativity it could bring to the organization and the sort of protection over the sanctity of it, like the Steelers tend to have. And so I think it kind of plays in his favor where they're like, you want to stay out all night and be late for the team bus? Yeah, you might not play a snap, but that's fine. You want to miss meetings? That's I don't care. We'll franchise tag you next year. Like, they don't care at all. And I think it's honestly to his improvement. And it's clear that Dak Prescott and having a quarterback that George Pickens trusts and thinks is a good quarterback is a huge difference maker for that player.
Again, and when him and Antonio Brown are hanging out, sharing Super Bowl rings, crazy times. Pittsburgh Hornets. I know Khan is not likely to be gone, but what would you rate his performance? How much of the good picks are his? How much is Tomlin's? And how much other people's? I think overall I'm giving Omar Khan a grand total of everything he's done a B+, teetering on a B, but I don't think I'd go lower than a B. I think the grand scheme of everything he's done a lot of good for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think he's had a really rough offseason in terms of adding. I don't think that he made any bad trades, George Pickens included, this offseason. I think his contracts were wild and a little bit too expensive. I think he was urged to make those contracts from those around him. And sometimes you just got to get it done. But I think Omar's been a much better GM than people are willing to admit.
Yeah, at least right now. Like the sentiment surrounding him was so different 3 months ago, and just the way the season has gone, I think the opinion has shifted maybe too quickly. But yeah, I think he's been a good general manager. B sounds like a great grade to me. And I'm not, I have no, if I'm the Steelers, I have no plans to move on from him anytime soon. Like, I don't think he's the problem.
No. Leroy, watch the video that stated all of the top wide receivers we let go all went on to win Super Bowls. So he might be tracking. That's crazy. You want to know who didn't, though? You want to know who didn't win a Super Bowl?
Mike Wallace?
Chase Claypool, man. Terrible. Terrible. Slim, hey, Noah, do you think the Steelers pick up Broderick's fifth-year option? No. No, I do not. I don't even think they even consider it. And let's finish it off with good old Pittsburgh Hornets here. If you had to pick who wins in the Steelers versus Ravens press booth edition of Backs on Backers, who comes out on top? This is the easiest answer I will ever give on this show, okay? Let me set the scene. Let me get comfy here for a second. Let me set the scene. Mike DeFabo, who's a pretty stocky guy, okay? Pretty stocky guy, has the ball, okay? We're going Oklahoma, Backs on Backers. All right, so I guess we're blocking here, which is different. If we're doing that, I'll set the Oklahoma drill, I'll set the Backs on Backers. Either way, we're walking out victorious. Not even close. Backs on Backers. You're telling me that you're not sending, I don't know, Mark Kaboli out there to block whoever you need to block? Because my boy Kaboom's getting the job done. You don't think he's getting the job done?
You think he's got the leverage?
Bro, when have you ever seen Kaboom stand up straight? No chance, dude. And if we're going leverage, half of the team, I mean, me, you, Backo, Mike DeFabo, I'm sending DeFabo out there then. He's 5'4" and a half.
Some guys can get low.
He's a tiny guy. And
I think that's just, we'd have to win through that, right? Like, it can't, like, I love, like, I think you send out Kaboomster. Oh, it's over. You send out Faribaugh. Oh, good night, Ravens beat writers.
I'm saying, dude, it's over. We do a little Oklahoma drill with a little Kaboom at the line. I'm going back. Oh, he's shifty. You know what I mean? He plays basketball. He's a little, you know what I mean? Little dude. So, you know, I think it could happen. I'd put Steelers all day, every day. All day, every day. All day, every single day. And then Mike G, Jacob and Noah, Coach T leaves, comes back for a ceremony or alumni weekend. Does he get booed? Does he get booed again? Or bygones be bygones? Thanks for the memories. If Mike T, first off, anybody who sits around after Mike Tomlin's gone and says Mike Tomlin was this terrible coach, I can't believe he was the coach. You hold the wildest grudges. It's crazy. Like, Mike T won a Super Bowl, went to 2 Super Bowls, held this team to a very high standard for a long time. Has the ship sailed? Most likely. It is most likely sailed. Does that mean that in 19 years, a good long majority of that was success and a lot of good memories? Yes. And I think if anybody is sitting around going, nah, dude, he's terrible, I'm going to boo him. Get out of here, dude. Get out. You probably still are mad that your neighbor blocked your driveway 6 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, let it breathe. Let it breathe. Mike T should go down as a Pittsburgh Steelers legend, just like Coach Cowher did, just like Chuck Noll did. He should be included in that big 3, and people should just, you know, it shouldn't be a vicious, like, he left, I hate him so much. It should just be, you know, he's leaving. That's the best thing to do right now. But thanks for the good times, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Time heals all wounds. And you know, I love to make a comparison to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Jaromir Jagr wins 2 Stanley Cups, multiple scoring championships, MVPs, says in 2001, I'm dying alive here in Pittsburgh. Says he's dying alive in Pittsburgh. They trade him. It's 2025. That man is beloved again. There might be some people who hold some sour grapes over how he left, you know, like my dad being one of them, but everyone else, this guy's a legend, right? Like, there wasn't a dry eye in the house when him and his teenage girlfriend came back for his jersey retirement. You know, wasn't a dry eye.
I was there. I was there. Shout out. Yeah, it's a crazy time. And I'm not a hockey guy, so like, I covered that game and was like, I have no idea who you are, brother, but this is cool, I guess. Didn't have any idea he was 85 and still skating with the team. Crazy times. But yeah, and Mike T is going to go out respectfully. He'd never, like, you know, never be this big show. And I think that we just, you know, the second he's gone, it's, hey man, thanks for the memories. It was a good time. It was a good time. All right, guys. With that said, we're heading out of here. Thank you so much for jumping on to another episode of All Steelers Talk. Make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/All Steelers Talk. Check us out anywhere you get your podcasts. And as always, find all of our work at si.com/NFL/Steelers. Before we head out of here, hit that like and subscribe button. Can't thank you enough. And with that said, we'll be back tomorrow. Until then, enjoy another beautiful day in the Berg.